Hello, Capricorn. I'm Poetic Heretic, and this is your May 2020 astrology forecast. Now, first and foremost, I know I am late with this, and I apologize for that. These forecasts took longer than I anticipated to complete this month. There was just so much going on in the month of May that it took me that much longer to finish them. But I am here now. I do apologize, but better late than never. And so prepare yourself, Capricorn, Sun, Rising, and Moon individuals, for this is your May 2020 forecast. I think I'm going to adjust my microphone slightly. All right. I don't know if that did anything, but there we go. Early in the month, we have on May 4th, the Sun conjunct Mercury in Taurus and your fifth house of creativity. The powerful life force of the sun is lighting up your mind, communication, and what you study, write about, or talk about. And this is happening in the realm of your fun, love, romance, and creative self-expression. Especially with revolutionary Uranus co-present with this conjunction, expect breakthroughs in your fun and creativity in the form of ideas, realizations, or revelations. Alternatively, you may experience a sudden powerful desire to creatively express yourself in an entirely new and radical way. These ideas or realizations may also cause changes in your partner's money, business, or issues of life and death, your work, health, and or day-to-day activities, or your belief system and spirituality. Next, we have on May 7th, the full moon in Scorpio and your 11th house of groups. The full moon is where things come to a head and culminate in a powerful way. And this month there is, I must say, one hell of a full moon. With it taking place in Scorpio, its overall mood will be deep, dark, intense, and emotional. It is activating your 5th and 11th house axis, and thus you can expect things to come to a head in your creative self-expression, as well as your friends and social network. What makes this one hell of a full moon, however, are the powerful aspects to it. The moon itself is applying to a trine to Neptune in Pisces in your 3rd house, adding an element of dreaminess to the mix. You may experience a creative or spiritual breakthrough at the time of this full moon involving communication and that which is familiar to you. Recall earlier what I said about the Sun conjunct Mercury. At the time of the full moon, the half of the full moon aspect, that is the Sun, is still conjunct Mercury, the two of them only 3 degrees apart. This is a strong indicator of conflict between reason and emotion. This will likely play out in one-on-one arguments, with one person representing reason and the Sun-Mercury conjunction, and the other person representing emotion and the moon in Scorpio. Our challenge will be to experience this with compassion for the other person and their perspective. As if all this wasn't enough, at the time of the full moon, the Sun-Mercury aspect of it will be applying to a trine to both Pluto and Jupiter in Capricorn and thus your 1st house. So we have this full moon also bringing light to deep, dark, perhaps psychological issues, belief systems, and perhaps one's worldview. Expect powerful breakthroughs in these areas, such as the revelation of a deep truth through the application of reason to emotion, causing an expansion in one's worldview or ideas. For you, Capricorn, expect this transformation and expansion to take place within you personally, including but not limited to your character and your appearance. These powerful full moon events are likely to end up causing some changes in your major relationships, as well as your partner's money, business, or issues of life and death. To a lesser extent, your social group, communication, and your belief system and spirituality, as well as your work, health, and day-to-day activities may be affected by this powerful full moon. Moving on to the middle part of the month, the first main event we have is Venus stationing retrograde on May 13th in Gemini and your 6th house. Not only is this highly significant by itself, but we also have Venus, as it is stationing retrograde, in a tense square with Neptune in your 3rd house. What's so interesting about this is that normally Venus square Neptune would only last perhaps a couple of days, but due to the retrograde, this Venus square Neptune is effectively lasting for the entire month, only beginning to lose power in the last week or so of May. Furthermore, since Venus will eventually square Neptune again in late July once it is direct, this aspect is actually the beginning of a cycle lasting at least from May through July of this year. Now, what is this all about, you may ask? Let's break it down. Venus is the planet of love and relationships. As Venus stations retrograde, expect love and relationship stuff to be stirred up in your life, with an added emphasis on the past, as is the nature of retrogrades. A lover from the past could reappear. You may find yourself coming to terms with an old relationship. An old friend may even show up in your life during this time. As mentioned, this retrograde is taking place in your sixth house of day to day activities, so expect this revisiting of the past to involve your work, schedule, day to day activities, and/or your health. The square to Neptune tells us that, I'm not going to lie, this blast from the past may be stressful, riddled with confusion, and cause you to question what is real and what is illusion. It may involve communication and/or short distance travel. An event may occur involving this situation that forces you to take a new and uncomfortable action, but that nevertheless results in activity in new areas. These new areas, as well as the areas likely to be affected by this transit, are your creative self expression, your career and public image, and communication, and that which is familiar to you. I also want to add that with the Sun just having perfectly sextile Neptune just a couple days prior to Venus exact stationing retrograde, the lighting up of what is hidden and mysterious is also quite probable with this overall situation. You may be given an opportunity to use reason to shed some light on the Neptunian mystery of this development. Remember, every single thing I have said about this Venus retrograde is part of a longer cycle lasting from this month at least through the end of July. Though the exact station is May 13th, do not expect that to be the exact date of the beginning of these developments. Though it could be, it will likely be just sometime during the month of May in general, though for some of you, the relevant Venus retrograde events may already be in motion, whether you realize it or not. Moving on, we have two key aspects in a row. On May 15th, the Sun trines Pluto in Capricorn and thus your first house, and almost immediately after that, on May 17th, the Sun trines Jupiter also in Capricorn and thus your first house. We will be treating this as one overall event since that is what it is likely to manifest as for most people, even if it has perhaps two phases. The Sun trine Pluto is, as alluded to earlier in the full moon delineation, a breakthrough that brings the light of awareness to that which is deep, dark, and powerful. In fact, the events of the full moon this month may be connected for many people to this breakthrough in the middle of the month, since this aspect was already forming at the time of the full moon and very much a part of it. For phase 2 of this event, the Sun trine Jupiter, the life force powerfully energizes an expansion of one's worldview, growth, and/or belief systems. Reason harmonizes with belief. For you, Capricorn, this will likely play out in all that is you personally, though it may also have to do with, yet again, your fun and creative self-expression, a transformation that leads to an expansion of your ideas or beliefs, resulting in changes to shared resources, business, or issues of life and death. Looking now more towards the end of the month, indeed the main event is the new moon in Gemini on May 22nd, occurring on the same day as the Mercury-Venus conjunction co-present with it in Gemini. This new moon, similar to the full moon earlier in the month, is powerfully aspected, and there is quite a bit about it to unpack. First of all, both it and the Mercury-Venus conjunction are taking place in your sixth house of work, so expect new beginnings involving your work and day-to-day activities, your health, employees, or your schedule. With the Mercury-Venus conjunction also perfecting the same day, it may be on or around this day for many of us that we see a significant event involving the Venus retrograde stuff happen. For as Mercury conjuncts Venus, it stirs up all that retrograde Venus square Neptune stuff. The new moon is in a powerful trine with Saturn in Aquarius and your second house. This adds an element of stability and structure to the new moon. There may be breakthroughs involving your commitments, responsibilities, and/or things you've been trying to manifest, especially when it comes to your finances and/or self-image. Furthermore, this new moon is in an applying square to Mars and Pisces in your third house. So despite the stability offered to this new moon by Saturn, it will still be stressful for many on some level, particularly due to anger, either in yourself or others, aggression, or the need to take focused action, possibly resulting from an event that pushes you into new areas of activity. This stress, anger, and any event associated with them will likely involve your work and day-to-day activities and/or communication in that which is familiar to you. Fortunately, both the new moon itself and stabilizing Saturn are in air signs, which should make it easier for us to maintain a level of intellectual detachment so that any explosive emotions are easier to process. And as if all that wasn't enough, matters are complicated still further when we observe that Mars being squared by the new moon is itself in an applying sextile to Uranus and Taurus in your fifth house at the time of the new moon. This could manifest as an opportunity you can create involving your motivation, drive, and focused action, as well as awakening, freedom, and breakthroughs. But you must understand, Mars connecting with Uranus is highly explosive energy. If you do not create or take the opportunity this offers, a rather dramatic event may occur around the time of the new moon to make possible for you the option to make the necessary changes. Uranus wants to break free at all costs. Mars is angry and always ready for war. When they connect through any major aspect, expect explosive developments. This will manifest in the area of communication and short distance travel and or your fun and creative self-expression. Just be careful, because the highly volatile energy of these planets can create the risk for accidents and injuries. Whatever form the new moon as a whole takes for you personally, it is likely to result in changes or new developments in your partner's money, business, or issues of life and death, your major relationships, and your finances or self image. All in all, the month of May is yet another month of many dynamic developments. These are wild times in which we now live, and the month of May continues that wildness and intensity. There are powerful breakthroughs bound to happen, powerful emotions that must be experienced and processed, new insights, realizations, and revelations to be had, ghosts of past relationships to be confronted, and an inexorable desire for freedom that refuses to be held down any longer. Let the glorious adventure that is May 2020 begin. All right, Capricorn, that is your forecast. I hope you liked it. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe if you're not already. Also, if you'd like a personal reading with me, I go live on this channel every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, doing both astrology and tarot readings. Astrology readings are $20 that you can pay for through a donation through Super Chat or PayPal. If that's a little pricey, I understand. Alternatively, you can get a tarot reading for a donation of any amount, even as little as $1. Again, that's every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on this channel. So I hope you enjoyed this, Capricorn. Hope you have a great month of May, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.